From the Nephilim in the Bible to the Fomorians of Celtic mythology, ancient races of giants are a common theme in many religions and mythologies around the world. These giants often symbolize primordial chaos, strength, and the untamed forces of nature. The primary biblical reference to the Nephilim appears in Genesis chapter 6 verses 1 to 4.
When human beings began to increase in number on the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown."
The sons of God are often interpreted as either fallen angels, divine beings, or descendants of Seth, a godly lineage, while the daughters of men are generally seen as human women or descendants of Cain, an ungodly lineage. Another mention occurs in Numbers chapter 13 verses 32 to 33, where the Israelite spies report back from Canaan.
"The land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there, the descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them."
The Nephilim are thought to be the offspring resulting from the union of the sons of God and daughters of men. This union is considered unnatural and is often seen as one reason for the moral corruption leading to the Great Flood. The Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text not included in the canonical Bible, provides a more detailed account of the Nephilim. It describes how fallen angels, called the Watchers, descended to earth, mated with human women, and produced the Nephilim. The Nephilim are depicted as giants who caused great destruction and violence on earth. Other texts, such as the Book of Jubilees and certain Dead Sea Scrolls, also mention the Nephilim and the Watchers, further elaborating on their origins and their role in spreading sin and corruption among humans. The Book of Enoch is attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah. The book is not considered canonical in most branches of Judaism and Christianity, but it is highly regarded in some Ethiopian and Eritrean Christian traditions. The Book of Enoch is divided into several distinct sections, each dealing with different themes. The Book of the Watchers describes the fall of the Watchers, the angels who fathered the Nephilim. It details their descent to earth, their union with human women, and the ensuing chaos. The Watchers teach humanity forbidden knowledge, leading to widespread sin. This story elaborates on the brief references in Genesis. In chapter 6, the Watchers, led by Semjaza, decide to descend to earth.
"And it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children."
Under Semjaza's leadership, the Watchers descend to earth on Mount Hermon and take human wives, an act that defies divine boundaries. This union results in the birth of the Nephilim, giants who wreak havoc on the world.
"And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them, and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells."
The Nephilim wreak havoc on earth, consuming resources and turning to violence and cannibalism. The giants consumed all the acquisitions of men, and when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. Semjaza and his fellow Watchers not only corrupt themselves, but also humanity by imparting forbidden knowledge. This includes teaching about weaponry, cosmetics, enchantments, and other secret arts, leading to further moral decay.
And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Semjaza taught enchantments and root cuttings. Armaros the resolving of enchantments. Barakijal taught astrology. Kokabel the constellations. Ezekiel the knowledge of the clouds. Arakiel the signs of the earth. Shamsiel the signs of the sun. And Sariel the course of the moon.
The corruption caused by Semjaza and the Watchers led to their eventual judgment and condemnation. The archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel report the chaos to God, who commands them to bind the Watchers and their offspring until the final judgment.
And the Lord said unto Michael, Go, bind Semjaza and his associates, who have united themselves with women so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth, till the day of their judgment and of their consummation, till the judgment that is for ever and ever is consummated.
The fate of the Nephilim is closely tied to the judgment and punishment of the Watchers, their angelic fathers. In chapter 10, God commanded the archangels to act against the Watchers and their offspring, the Nephilim.
And to Gabriel said the Lord, Proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication and the children of the Watchers from amongst men, and cause them to go forth, send them one against the other, that they may destroy each other in battle. For length of days shall they not have.
Thus the Nephilim, referred to as bastards and reprobates, were to be set against each other, causing mutual destruction. The spirits of the Nephilim, as well as their physical forms, were to be eradicated from the earth to cleanse it of their influence.
And destroy all the spirits of the reprobate and the children of the Watchers, because they have wronged mankind. Destroy all wrong from the face of the earth, and let every evil work come to an end. And let the plant of righteousness and truth appear.
In chapter 15, God addressed Enoch, explaining the nature and fate of the Nephilim after their physical destruction.
And now the giants, who are produced from the spirits and flesh, shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies. Because they are born from men and from the holy Watchers is their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits shall they be called.
The spirits of the Nephilim, after their bodily destruction, became evil spirits. They originate from the union of Watchers and human women, leading to their corrupt nature. The spirits of the Nephilim would continue to wreak havoc on humanity, despite their disembodied state. They are depicted as malevolent forces that bring affliction and destruction.
And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth, and cause trouble. They take no food, but nevertheless hunger and thirst, and cause offenses. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men and against the women, because they have proceeded from them. From the days of the slaughter and destruction and death of the giants, from the souls of whose flesh the spirits, having gone forth, shall destroy without incurring judgment. Thus shall they destroy until the day of the consummation, the great judgment in which the age shall be consummated over the Watchers and the godless, yea, shall be wholly consummated.
Thus the spirits of the Nephilim will persist on earth, continuing their destructive activities until the final judgment.
And now, as to the Watchers who have sent thee to intercede for them, who had been aforetime in heaven, say to them, You have been in heaven, but all the mysteries had not yet been revealed to you, and you knew worthless ones. And these in the hardness of your hearts you have made known to the women, and through these mysteries women and men work much evil on earth.
While this verse primarily addresses the Watchers, it underscores that the knowledge and actions leading to the Nephilim's creation were part of the transgressions that brought widespread evil. So according to the Book of Enoch initially, the Nephilim are physically destroyed by being set against each other. However, their spirits continue to exist as malevolent entities, causing affliction and destruction until the final judgment. Another text, the Book of Giants, which is related to the Book of Enoch, was discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls at Qumran. It provides additional context and details about the Nephilim. One of the key themes in the Book of Giants is the giants' realization of their impending doom. They experience troubling visions and dreams that foretell their destruction. These visions are interpreted by Enoch, the righteous scribe, who conveys the divine judgment against them. Mahwai, one of the giants, dreams of a tablet submerged in water representing their fate. The tablet is eventually lifted from the water, signifying their partial redemption or continued existence in a different form. Ohia and Hahia, the twin sons of Shemihaza, also have dreams that predict the coming deluge and their destruction. They see a tree uprooted except for 3 roots, symbolizing the annihilation of their race except for a remnant that might survive in a different manner. Disturbed by their dreams, the giants seek out Enoch, who has withdrawn to a secluded place. They send Mahwai to find and bring back Enoch's interpretation of their visions. Enoch responds by sending back a message that confirms their worst fears. The giants will be destroyed due to their wickedness, and the watchers who fathered them will be punished. Enoch warns the giants and their fathers of the divine judgment. He tells them that the earth will be cleansed of their presence through a great flood, and their spirits will be bound until the final judgment. Upon receiving Enoch's message, the giants and the watchers react with despair. They realize the gravity of their sins and the inescapable nature of the judgment awaiting them. The giants in particular acknowledge that their violence and corruption have doomed them. The giants understand that they cannot escape their fate. Their acknowledgement of the prophetic visions and Enoch's interpretation marks their acceptance of the inevitable flood that will cleanse the earth of their wickedness. The story concludes with the fulfillment of the prophecy, the great flood that eradicates the physical presence of the Nephilim from the earth. However, their spirits remain, condemned to wander and cause trouble as evil spirits, a theme also seen in the Book of Enoch. The spirits of the Nephilim, being born of both angels and humans, are cursed to roam the earth, causing strife and suffering among mankind. The presence of the Nephilim in Numbers 13 has puzzled scholars and readers for centuries, as their appearance seems inconsistent with the belief that the flood in Genesis eradicated them. Some Jewish traditions suggest that a few Nephilim might have survived the flood. The Talmud and Midrash contain stories that elaborate on how certain giants managed to endure the deluge. For instance, Og, the king of Bashan, is said to have clung to Noah's Ark and survived the flood. This would imply that at least some Nephilim or their descendants could have persisted into the post-flood world. Another interpretation is that the term Nephilim in Numbers 13 does not necessarily refer to the original pre-flood Nephilim, but rather to a similar race of giants that appeared after the flood. According to some traditions, the descendants of Anak were considered giants like the Nephilim, hence the connection made by the Israelite spies. The Book of Jubilees and ancient Jewish texts suggest that the Nephilim's existence and influence extended beyond the time of the flood.
For owing to these 3 things came the flood upon the earth, namely, owing to the fornication, wherein the watchers against the law of their ordinances went a-whoring after the daughters of men, and took themselves wives of all which they chose, and they made the beginning of uncleanness. And they begat sons, the Nephilim, and they were all unlike, and they devoured one another. And the giants slew the Nephil, and the Nephil slew the Eljo, and the Eljo mankind, and one man another.
This indicates the presence of Nephilim, or their like continuing post-flood through violent, chaotic means. Some scholars interpret the mention of Nephilim in Numbers as a literary device used by the authors to evoke fear and emphasize the formidable nature of the inhabitants of Canaan. The spies' report was intended to dissuade the Israelites from attempting to conquer the land by portraying its inhabitants as almost mythical giants. Another explanation is that the term Nephilim in Numbers 13 had come to refer to any race of giants or mighty warriors, not necessarily the pre-flood Nephilim. The Anakim, the descendants of Enoch, could have been labelled as Nephilim due to their giant stature and reputation. The mention of the Nephilim in Numbers 13, despite their supposed eradication by the flood, has multiple interpretations ranging from survival stories, symbolic usage, literary devices. While the exact explanation remains a topic of debate, these various texts and interpretations give a number of possibilities to understand the continued presence of giants or Nephilim-like figures in the biblical story. The stories of the Nephilim, spanning from the pre-flood era in Genesis to their reappearance in Canaan as described in Numbers, weave a complex tapestry of myth, fear, and divine judgment. These giants, born of the union between fallen angels and human women, symbolize the ultimate transgression against divine order, leading to catastrophic consequences like the flood. Their enduring presence in texts like the Book of Giants and various Jewish traditions highlights their significant impact on ancient narratives, blending themes of human ambition, supernatural rebellion, and the unyielding nature of divine justice. These tales continue to captivate, offering a profound exploration of the intersection between the divine and the mortal, the known and the mysterious,